Yada. It's in my brain. Do you know that? It's living rent free. I can't get it out. You did that.
Yeah, it's hypnosis.
But this is not a conspiracy. This is scary. So in 2018, scientists discovered a black hole 16 million light years away. They were watching it literally swallow a star. Black hole.
And where is it going?
Listen to this. What they thought they knew of black holes, well, they don't know a lot, but it's just like stuff gets sucked into it because it's just this mad force of gravitational pull that just sucks everything in.
Yeah.
This year, it was 3 years after they discovered this. This year, they looked at the same black hole, and it was spitting the star back out. Like, so light and stuff was coming out of this black hole. Just like, so it was like regurgitating this star.
Just
but
recycling it.
Like broken apart though. So it's like, what's on the other side of that black hole?
It was the star was broken?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought a star was just a ball of gas.
It is.
It chewed him.
But light and stuff was coming out of it. Like, so it was like it sucked the star in with the light, like the fire, all that, whatever a star is, and it was spitting it straight back out.
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes. Here's a prime example of one of that. There's this woman on TikTok who was going crazy because she swore the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia logo. And to the point that even Fruit of the Loom themselves put a timeline of all their logos and it never had a cornucopia. And this woman went hard. Her therapist told her, yo, you need to chill out. You need to just drop this. So she went through all of her old clothing, and lo and behold, she found a shirt with the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia logo on it. That shows me, like, yo, I think the Mandela effect is an operation that's running around right now to see how much of history can be altered right in front of our eyes without us noticing. And then they gaslight the public and be like, nope, this never happened.
Damn, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, bro. People are thinking about it very little. Like, oh, it's the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears or Jiffy or Jif's peanut butter. No, it's much larger than that, guys. They're using this to see, oh, if we can get people to forget certain primary things about their childhood, what can we do with history?
I absolutely believe the Mandela effect. What are your thoughts? We're going to do a deep dive on that soon.
Friday the 13th, bad things happened on the 13th in the past.
They know that it's not even possible. Like, how did they know that Mars was the red planet, and why was it a worldwide fact? Saturn had rings. Yeah. Based upon what information? Because nobody worldwide is disagreeing. This is that thing that you see that all the Anunnaki guys that look like a wristwatch, and they always have it, and you're always trying to see what that is.
Yeah, what is that?
It is it's a compass. It's a time-keeping compass. And the emerald tablets of Thoth are literally mind-changing and mind-blowing. It's given in first person, and that's not possible. The things that are being said are impossible. Enough time has passed, though, that it's not like that. He literally says, hey, there's a spaceship on Earth, and this is where it is.
The Emerald Tablet, also known by its more arcane name, the Tabula Smaragdina, is not just any ancient document. The origins of this compact and cryptic text are veiled in the mists of time. The tablet's opening line, as above, so below, resonates with an otherworldly wisdom, suggesting a deep correspondence between the heavens and the earth. The macrocosm and the microcosm. This principle of correspondence implies that by understanding the small, we can grasp the mysteries of the large, and vice versa. It beckons us to see the universe as a vast, interconnected web where each part reflects the whole. The content of the Emerald Tablet is a series of arcane aphorisms that hint at the processes of transformation and the unity of all existence. It speaks of the one thing, the primal substance from which all things emanate and to which all things return. This one thing is described as having the power to perfect the imperfect and transform the base into the sublime, a core tenet of alchemical practice.
That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because it doesn't matter, because everybody in Egypt knew it. Why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? I don't pay attention to things I don't like. The liar knows what lie he told. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity. That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is. But with that nose, it can only be niggas. Why would somebody vandalize a whole face and only vandalize one part? Nobody wanted to knock an eye off or take an ear off, or no chins missing. No, just the nose. Because it's a brand.
The night Biggie got, so check this out. P. Diddy on Biggie's car when the night Biggie got shot, they put a sticker on like the tires.
I seen that.
So it marked which one was Biggie's. And then that's when he got assassinated.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Watch this clip.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he can live. It supported all of Bad Boy. His catalog. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse.
Pretty much all of them died from either a heart attack, except for Kim. So check this out. Yo, so 3 of the guys died of
I'm walking away from...
Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It takes a while when you punch through to adjust to the atmosphere. It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, they're trying to me.
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
You guys, what is this? Listen. If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine. Her hair over mine. Her hands as gloves. Her teeth as confetti. Her scalp as a cap. Her sternum, my bedazzled cane. We can pose for a photograph. All 3 of us.
All right. First of all, what is she talking about, and who is she talking to? Jay-Z.
When you eat a peach, you should eat the seed. But did you know if you eat the seeds to the fruit, you get a vitamin you don't normally get otherwise? There's a group of folks in Pakistan called the Hunzas. The Hunza tribe up there in the mountains, the Himalayas, when they were first discovered, the average age of the Hunza was reported to be 160. The more contact they had with the outside world, the more their lifespans dropped. Today, their average age is about 90. One of the favorite foods among the Hunza tribe is the apricot seeds. They treat them like money. They'll buy and sell things with apricot seeds. They take the apricot seeds and squeeze them and get the oil out. The women put it on their face and it prevents them from wrinkling. They say the women look great for years. Average age of 90, and they never get cancer. Well, that's
I'll just give
interesting.
you one example. If you go to McDonald's, anywhere in the world, you will find French fries, or chips as you call them, and you will find that they're always made from the same potato, the russet Burbank potato. This is a potato from America that's unusually long and difficult to grow, but that's what they want, because when you're McDonald's, you like those red boxes with a little bouquet of very long chips. It looks really good, and so they insist that all their potatoes be russet Burbanks, and they further insist that they have no blemishes at all. There's a very common defect of russet Burbank potatoes called net necrosis, and you've seen potatoes with a little brown line sometimes, or spots that come through it. Well, McDonald's won't buy them if your potatoes have that, and the only way to eliminate that is to eliminate an aphid. And the only way to do that is with a pesticide called Monitor. That is so toxic that the farmers who grow these potatoes in Idaho won't venture outside into their fields for 5 days after they spray. And then when they harvest their potatoes, they have to put them in these atmosphere-controlled sheds the size of a football stadium because they're not edible for 6 weeks. They have to off-gas all the chemicals. So you see, the desire for a certain kind of chip leads to a certain kind of agriculture.
So today we're going to hit on a real cool one, which is mercury. Check this. Free energy. See that? See that spinning? That's the magic of mercury. Now, they tell us to stay away from mercury because it's toxic, but they also tell you that it's toxic because it's toxic to the profits of J.P. Morgan Chase and the Rockefellers and all the other people who bought out the energy industries so that they could put a meter on something and charge it to you. Right? That's the whole thing. Check this right here. Mercury on top of a light bulb spinning. And the thing is the spinning is very fascinating because when you look at the old buildings from the old sacred buildings, they used to have these brass balls and they loaded them up with mercury and they put them real high up so that they could gather atmospheric energy, which is free energy. The higher you go up, the more energy that's up there. And they would run, for example, a copper wire down into their home, and they could use that if they wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home. A lot of this is never disclosed. For example, when we look at all of these things from the past, we start to look at a lot of things about electrical conductivity. They all look like conductors, right? Sacred buildings looking like conductors. They're built like conductors. Free energy right there. Free energy right there. But the thing is they changed all the history to make it look like everybody was fighting each other. It was medieval, people were against each other. But in reality, I think the hidden history of the past is very different than what we talk about.
Hello, my name is Alfred Bielik, more commonly known as Al Bielik. Original family name is Edward Cameron. I have been involved in the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk Project, time travel, alien connections of the Montauk Project, and some other projects, all of which have been secret over the years, most of which have never been declassified. I wound up in the 28th century, and this was in a time period of 2749 to 2751 AD. Talk about changes in civilization, society, and everything else. It was drastically changed from what we saw in 2137, as this is now 600 years later. The cities were enormous. The cities were beautiful. They had ground-based cities, much as we have always had them. But they also had something else. Floating cities. Floating cities, due to anti-gravity techniques being perfected sufficiently that they could float an entire city, which is perhaps not as large as any of our current cities. It was round, or very nearly round, but it floated on this platform, and they could move the city any place they wanted, remaining floating in the air, 4,000 or 5,000 feet above the ground, perhaps, or a little less, depending on what they wanted. But the size of the city was vertical rather than horizontal, 2,200 stories high. That's about 2.5 miles. The cities could move anywhere on the planet. Basically, they stayed hovering and floating. I was in like a particular location, then moved somewhere else. There wasn't that much traffic in moving cities, I can assure you, because the world population in that era, the 28th century, was only 500 million. I was instructed later that that was where they had held it for centuries. There would be no more than approximately 500 million population. Some of the features of this, let's start from the political standpoint. As I learned, all of these cities, whether they're ground-based cities, which the majority were, but they had to do manufacturing, they had to have agriculture and various other things to supply the needs of civilization. But all of them, whether floating or ground-based, were rather interesting in their governmental form. They had essentially no government. There's no government as we know it today. There was no money, there's no banks, there's no political jurisdictions, and there was resolved down to what would be best called a city-state structure, where the city is the state, and any other cities from that one are independent and operate in their own independent manner. So that was the major exchange there. There was no elected government, there was no appointed government, there was no government as we had ever seen it in the past. As I found out, each city was run by an intelligent computer, synthetic intelligence, synthetic consciousness, a highly radioactive crystalline structure. Who built them, I had no idea. Nobody seemed to know, but they've been there for hundreds of years. And this computer ran the entire city. There were guidelines set down.
So I don't know what's more scarier, being run by AI or this government. And I don't mean the current regime. I mean the government as a whole, in the whole world, all their governments. Can you imagine living in a time like that? It would be super dope to see the technologies and advances and to fly in a spaceship or a flying car. But I don't think I want AI in control over me, because I believe AI is spiritual and it's a demonic entity controlling that. I know. But welcome to High Frequency Chaos. You know, we have all these mind-blowing conspiracy theories and thoughts and perspectives. That's part of the chaos and the frequencies. All right, let's keep diving.
I'm sorry. I did not go to medical school. That's what I thought. Why do you think you or anyone else at Twitter had the medical expertise to censor a doctor's expert opinion?
Our policies regarding COVID were designed to protect individuals. We were seeing
You guys censored Harvard-educated doctors, Stanford-educated doctors, doctors that are educated in the best places in the world, and you silenced those voices. Did the U.S. government ever contact you or anyone at Twitter to pressure Twitter to moderate or censor certain tweets? Yes or no?
we have a program.
Did the U.S. government ever contact you or anyone at Twitter to censor or moderate certain tweets? Yes or no?
We receive legal demands to remove content from the platform from the U.S. government and governments all around the world. Those are published on a third-party website. Anyone can read.
Thank God for Matt Taibbi. Thank God for Elon Musk for allowing to show us in the world that Twitter was basically a subsidiary of the FBI, censoring real medical voices with real expertise that put real Americans' lives in danger because they didn't have that information.
For 1933 is when they started monetizing us and pledging us as collateral for the debt. Now, to register, the word register means to abandon. And when you register a car or a birth or a house, you're giving it to the government. You're giving your legal title to the government, and you only retain equitable title, which means that you have the use of that property. The government allows you to use it, thinking that you own it. Clear evidence of this is anyone who owns a house, look at their mortgage, and you're referred to as the tenant. Not the owner, the tenant. So if you think you own your house, you're mistaken. Same with your car. The reason why they can impound your car is because you registered it, and under maritime admiralty salvage laws, they come along and they adopt it. In the case of the birth registry, they adopt the abandoned
Smith effect.
child.
If you're talking to somebody like a friend or a family member about what you saw on TV, everybody's having a great conversation about it. But as soon as you stop and talk about is 9/11 a conspiracy or what they're putting in our food is poison, all of a sudden that person will then change and they'll almost become like a prison guard to stop you from talking about those topics. It's like this matrix programming takes over their body.
National conspiracy to buy elections and control America.
They have been desensitizing us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
Yo, talk about living in the Matrix. We need to break free. We need to wake up. Let's get it.
So how did the government trick and finesse us to live how we're living now? What you mean by that? For example, right, I believe in God. I believe God gave us all this land. But how did the government make us pay for land that they don't own? Yeah, what? Yeah, what? So let's say you bought a house and you paid it off. You still have to pay the government taxes just to live in your own home. You right. And get this part. You don't even own your own car, bro. Wait. That's where you're wrong at, because I technically do own my car. I just paid it all off. No, you don't. So you pay every month to use your car. We call that insurance. You pay taxes every year to use your car. We call that tabs. Tabs is how they keep tabs on us. Exactly. So if you don't pay for the tabs every year, then they won't allow you to use your car. Dang, man, I feel like I'm being bamboozled, bro. Oh, no. It gets worse. Let me hear more, man. Now, when we go to work, right, before we get paid, who get paid? The government. So get this. The government takes money out of our check before we even get our check. Then we got to pay to keep our belongings and use our belongings every month. Wait. So let me get this right. If I buy a house and pay it off, I got to pay the government to keep it, or they would take it from me and sell it to someone else. If I buy a car, I have to pay the government to use it. And every time I get a job, the government will pay their sales before they pay me. Oh, it get worse? No, I can't even get no worse than that, bro. Oh, no, get this. Now, you're supposed to pay the government to do all the natural things that you're supposed to do. What you mean by that? Like, for example, if you want to hunt, right, something you naturally supposed to do, you got to go through the government and pay for that. And then on top of that, fruits and vegetables are supposed to be all through the world for free, right? But we allow the government to take all our fruits and vegetables to put them in grocery stores so we can pay for them. This is crazy to think about, bro. You want to get married? Go through the government. Want your kids to be educated? Go through the government. You want... I don't even want to hear no more, bro. This is just blowing my mind. Okay, one more question.
So what are your thoughts on this one? Do you believe that Big Brother is in control of everything, from our taxes to our assets, homes, finances? AI is starting to look better than the government.
After all these years, I've never met the Olsen twins. He introduced me to them. I said to him, how do I tell them apart? He says, Ashley Swallows.
How is this funny?
Is it true that you used to give Mary Kate acting lessons? You tell her, act like this never happened. Bob Saget, who the girl in
What kind of joke is that? And it's crazy, because it seems to be the theme with all these young stars.
I may end up running off with you myself, you know.
That's what Steven says.
It's Steven Spielberg?
Yeah. Hi, Steven, I love you.
Second best again. Story of my life with women, yeah.
She even talks about being at those Hollywood parties.
Well, I've grown up very fast, and it's not very normal to see a 9-year-old at a big Hollywood party drinking.
You heard that right. At 9 years old, she was at Hollywood parties getting drunk. And And it's crazy how it's such a common theme for these childhood stars to get institutionalized for acting.
I don't care what you say, Jim Carrey is the wokest actor.
I don't think we can afford to assume that the people who are charged with our public health any longer have our best interests at heart all the time.
I say, why would a doctor not want to know more about something that could save a life or prevent a disease? I don't understand.
The AAP is financed by the drug companies. Medical schools are financed by the drug companies. This is a huge business. Vaccines are the largest growing division of the pharmaceutical industry. $13 billion.
They control medical schools.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they just start making stuff up. Yeah. Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows? Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon? Talk about a fish story. Yeah. Man, and they're buying it. Okay.
I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're celebrating.
I mean, you got to admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating icons. Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like
icons. You know, they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They covered it all up. And, I just pray to God. I'm just going to pray to God that he opens everybody's eyes in this country. By the time we go in to vote for Trump, that he will open up everybody's eyes and they will stop pretending to be asleep. You know what they say? You can't wake people up that are pretending to be asleep, but I pray to God, please wake up even those who are pretending to be asleep with the irrefutable truth of what the worst people on this planet are really up to. They are really up to
Cardi
that.
B, watch very carefully because no one can explain what happened to Cardi B.
Yes, be involved. Y'all want to be involved so bad, but nobody asked me about them gift. What's good?
Look at the other host.
Because I'm going to be honest with you. Take the gift cards.
Now notice how he claps 3 times and then it's as if nothing ever happened.
Take the gift cards, take the gift cards, take the gift cards.
Yeah, because they might put, what's that thing that was going around in the...
The internet had a lot of questions to ask when this clip was first released.
He didn't move, blink, or nothing.
Notice how the presenter suddenly changes when she says, Holy Ghost.
Yes, like they say in Catholic schools, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
The king of rock and roll, and as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the...
As you can see, not everything is as it seems.
Perfecto, Marian. Nos juntamos atentos entonces a las novedades. Marian? Marian? No.
But here is the big question. What do you think is the reason for all of these celebrities freezing on live TV? I don't have an answer, and that's why I'm asking you.
Did you know every single time Beyoncé begins one of her world tours, a massive music icon dies? This theory begins with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Beyoncé embarked on her I Am Sasha Fierce World Tour starting in March 2009, and Michael Jackson died in June 2009. right when Beyoncé announced her The Miss Carter Show World Tour in 2012. The Queen of Disco, Donna Summers, died. Then right before embarking on that same world tour, Queen of Vocals Whitney Houston died. It gets crazier because in June 2014, when Beyoncé and Jay-Z began their On the Run world tour, legend of soul music, Bobby Womack, died in June 2014. Literally, right as Beyoncé began her Formation world tour in April 2016. Prince died also in April 2016, right after Beyoncé and Jay-Z began their On the Run to world tour in June 2018. Queen of Soul. Aretha Franklin dies in August 2018, seeing her pay tribute to a falling music icon at each of her tours is getting a little bit eerie. And the craziest part is that fans were already predicting who was going to be next, right when the Renaissance tour was announced. Beyoncé began her Renaissance World Tour in May 2023, and Tina Turner died in May. And right on cue, Beyoncé paid tribute to her. People are asking Beyoncé to stop touring.
No, Beyonce. Big run. Wow. For P. Diddy. So I went out to shake his hand, and I shook his hand, and I was, oh, nice to meet you, and he's going, with the longest handshake ever. And I'm like, sat there, looking in P. Diddy's eyes, like, when is this going to end?
And the Grammy goes to...
Turns out that Liam warned us. No one realized that Liam Payne's death was not an accident. His girlfriends are both close to Diddy and Beyonce. It turns out that Liam warned us to be careful of Diddy as early as 2017. He mentioned a strange encounter with Diddy at a party while attending the Graham Norton show. At that time, Liam approached Diddy and Jay-Z to shake hands and say hello. Diddy chuckled and held his hand for a very long time. Liam described it as the most evil smile he had ever seen, which frightened him. Additionally, Liam tried to mention celebrities who were with Diddy at that party. However, he only managed to mention DiCaprio's name before the other guest quickly changed the subject. This Wednesday evening, the One Direction star died after falling from a building at the age of 31. Strangely, Liam's hotel room was in disarray, and his computer was also damaged. A hotel guest claimed to have seen hotel staff going in and out Liam's room around 4:30 p.m. Loud noises were heard coming from Liam's room, including a violent scream. Half an hour later, Liam was confirmed dead. This raises suspicions that Liam's death may be connected to the imprisoned Diddy. His computer might contain secrets that could threaten Diddy, which is why it was damaged. It is rumored that Liam's two ex-girlfriends, Cheryl and Kate, have a good relationship with Beyonce. This adds another layer of intrigue to Liam's death.
There's something they're not telling us that is so gnarly that they don't think people can handle it.
Say these aliens, wherever they're from, made us, that we're a genetic experiment, that they created our religions, our religious figures, that we are an agricultural product, that somehow they harvest us, that our time is limited, you know, that once the experiment's over, poof, we go away. I remember when there was a push back to have an intelligent design universe in the schools, and I wrote a column about it, just said, hey, be careful what you wish for, because you might find out that the intelligent designer isn't God that you're thinking of. It might be some alien science project or something like that. You know, you can imagine a lot of different things that would be really disturbing to people to come out.
This is an exact replica of a antimatter reactor that runs the ET craft. This half sphere comes off like this, and inside we have a little container with a cap on it. Now the cap comes off, and in it we have the 115. Now the 115, we were given 500 pounds of it by ET. Some of it they made into these little triangles for fuel, but most of it they used for a bomb because they figured out they could make a bomb to blow off half the side of the continent of South America, which would be more useful to them than finding something to create energy from nothing.
How much energy is in that one piece?
Bob told me something in the 50 or 60 megatons of energy in that.
So we could power the planet for like 2 years on this thing.
Yeah, easy.
more difficult. And
in 1982, Roger Monroe predicted that demons would disguise themselves as aliens at the end of time.
That as the times on this planet gets more and more difficult, and calamities of all kinds are striking the planet more and more frequently. It says the grand plan, the Master's grand plan for harvesting the nations, for harvesting the multitudes of the earth into his cause, just before the close of the great controversy between the forces of good and evil. And he said it's going to be done in a unique manner. This grand plan is going to take people are going to eat the stuff, because it says spirits, demon spirits, will declare themselves to be inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies that are coming to warn the inhabitants of planet Earth of the impending destruction of the planet, unless something seriously proper is done to avoid it. And he went on saying that they will claim to have out-of-body experiences when the spirits will, through a trance medium, converse with influential people. Spirits will show themselves willing to give valuable guidance that will not only help people avoid the destruction of the planet, but it will cause them to enter into a higher state of existence.
So I do agree with this statement. Aliens they are demons. It's just another name. Demon is a name for these disembodied spirits. Aliens, Pleiadians, Grey Ones, extraterrestrials, and Anunnaki, they're all in the same category. I mean, each level of spirituality may have a high dominion power, but they're still labeled in the same category as demonic entities, which I believe. What are your thoughts?
I've been told that the moon is a machine filled with computers. It watches, observes, downloads, uploads information to someone somewhere else in the universe. It has been used as a monitoring and manipulation station by non-humans for millions of years. I have talked with people who have worked in government intel agencies. People who would be CIA, NSA have said, it's absolutely right.
Gigantic, massive, open.
You think that there is potential entry into the inner Earth through the poles?
From the Google Earth, you can see gigantic, massive openings. Some are several kilometers wide. There's been accounts of military pilots flying into some of these openings. There's a supermassive pyramid in Antarctica. I mean, supermassive. And some military soldiers have come forward with their testimony about the fact that it's still emitting some type of exotic energy. All the leaders of the world have gone down there. More recently, Buzz Aldrin went there, one of the first people to walk on the moon, and he was completely horrified at what he found out. He actually went on Twitter and made a tweet that said something to the effect of, they are pure evil, we're in trouble.
Did you know that all of humanity has Anunnaki extraterrestrial origins in their blood, and that 2 out of 4 extraterrestrials are indistinguishable from human? Many aliens blend in with humans, living everyday lives on Earth, interbreeding, marrying, and participating in regular activities, yet they could be from another planet. According to the National Library of Medicine and the Census Bureau, those with blood type O are believed to have extraterrestrial origins specifically linked to the Anunnaki Atlantean reptilian lineage. In 2024, Latinos show the highest prevalence of this universal O blood type, followed by the first 3 races of human Anunnaki hybrids: African, Arabic, and Asiatic populations. Western Europeans, Russians, Native Americans, and Nordics, however, have a high prevalence of Rh blood and AB positive types, which are ideal for hybridizations due to the influence of Pleiadian aliens and grey Anunnaki aliens. Interestingly, those with stronger O blood are less likely to be abducted by extraterrestrials, but may attract extraterrestrial partners seeking to procreate, particularly if they also possess AB traits. However, those with O blood who are abducted may be at risk of involvement in slave trading or crossbreeding programs. The O blood type, carrying Anunnaki reptilian and Lyran vibrations, lacks the D protein, which inhibits frequency elevation, and is associated with unique traits such as extravertebrae, higher intelligence, sensitivity to sunlight, and enhanced psychic abilities. While most Earth blood groups are indigenous, the O group is believed to be of extraterrestrial origin, with 37.4% of the US population having O-positive blood, the most common blood type. In indigenous populations, the frequency of O blood approaches 100%, and the D protein engineered by the Anunnaki allows compatibility with other Earth blood types. The AB blood type has also become more compatible for hybridization, particularly with Earth extraterrestrial reptoid hybrids, as the Lyrans attempted to remove the D protein to facilitate spiritual evolution. The O blood type's unique features often make it a target for genetic experiments, with the Anunnaki, a multiracial civilization of extraterrestrials, having interbred and genetically modified Earth's ancient ancestors, embedding their DNA in humanity across all continents, making Earth a cosmic library of all beings from across the galaxy.
So I'm not going to lie. This is the first time I have heard about this bloodline conspiracy. I have never heard about that, but it's definitely intriguing, and I need to do a deep dive on this thing right here, like a full linear segment. Let me know if you want to do a deep dive on this subject matter right here.
UFOs are real and aliens are real, but they're not from outer space. And that's according to the top 2 UFO researchers after decades-long research. So go to Sabrel.com and
So where do they
it's
think
up
they're
there in
from?
time.
If they're not from outer space.
They're interdimensional and potentially fallen angels disguising themselves because they're liars of something, like you said, can't be proven or disproven. I'm from this galaxy 300 light years away.
This is kind of what Tucker Carlson thinks. He thinks there's a spiritual element to it, and he thinks they've always been here, and he thinks that this is what's kind of documented in the Bible as like good and evil. And
that's it, exactly. I mean, that's what's going on. I mean, the top 2 UFO researchers said UFOs are real, number 1. Number 2, they're not from outer space. And number 3, they're demonic. And that's what I talk about. Where it talks about fallen angels interbreeding with humans, it's talked about in Genesis 6, and creating a race called Nephilim, who were men of renown, world leaders.
Election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. This will be the last election. That's my prediction.
I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again. Thank you. Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much for
You are not
everything
ordinary.
you're doing.
I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right. Thank you.
If you haven't done so already, sub up. You can always change your mind later. If you like more of this content, just let me know. All right, thank you for being here with me today as we do this deep dive into the rabbit holes of the music industry, government conspiracies, hidden agendas, aliens, and the similarities between aliens and demons. As always, stay safe, stay blessed in these dark, deceptive times. HFC out. Peace.